Welcome to Diverse Long Island, a show focusing on issues of importance to diverse communities across Long Island. I'm Michael Baldwin. A push to get more bilingual officers on the beat in Nassau County. The Long Island Civic Partnership Project says the communication barrier is one of the top issues for the Hispanic community. So I went out to talk about this with the people and the police. Hempstead Village police officer Ed Mulhern has been a cop for nearly a decade.
Today is actually my 9th anniversary.
The area he cruises and patrols
5'2"
is dominated by Spanish-speaking residents. He's not fluent in the language, but he says he knows enough to get by. And he feels he and other officers in the department can deal with situations where the person they are helping speaks very little English, with some speaking none at all.
I've never had a problem to where the language barrier between myself and somebody who had a real problem really affected the time and in the manner that we were able to interpret what was going on, to where somebody's safety was in jeopardy.
The village of Hempstead is 50% black and 44% Hispanic. Its police force is made up of 123 officers. Of that, 6 are fluent in Spanish. Officer Mulhern says if he can't figure out what a Spanish-speaking person is saying, timely help is not far away.
So whenever, especially down in the downtown area here, when I do come across a victim that predominantly speaks Spanish and is only comfortable telling what happened in Spanish, I can have an officer to my location very quick, under a minute, that speaks fluent Spanish.
This is Reynaldo Sandazal. He speaks very little English, and he told us about this story. He photographed this picture of his eye when he says he was attacked by 3 men outside his home in 2008. The police were called, but Sandazal says neither he nor the officers knew what each other was saying.
I didn't understand them too well. It was an African-American guy and a white guy, and they were telling me things, but I couldn't really understand.
Sandazal showed us police papers that say he refused medical attention. Because of the assault, he has no use of his left eye. He says it was a miscommunication with him and the police, and he would have gone to a hospital if someone spoke to him in Spanish.
They left and I was bleeding. I was bleeding and I was looking just like I am in that picture. I feel like this is a very large issue.
Angeline Echeverria is the head of the Long Island Civic Participation Project, a Spanish advocacy group. For the next Nassau County police exam, she wants the Civil Service Commission to create 2 classes of officers, those that know only English and those who are fluent in Spanish.
So if the community doesn't feel like the police are really there to protect and serve, that causes a lack of safety for everyone. Not just for the Spanish-speaking residents, but even if you're not a Spanish-speaking resident, if there's someone in your neighborhood who was assaulted and didn't report the crime because either they couldn't communicate with the police or they felt uncomfortable coming forward and talking to the police, that means that that person who assaulted them, you could be the next target.
What would you say to those folks that might say, listen, why don't the people in the community try to learn English better so that they can communicate with the police?
We work very closely with our members. A lot of our members are trying to learn English. They're taking English classes. A lot of them, those who are eligible, we're encouraging them to become citizens if they've been legal permanent residents for a while. So we are totally behind providing more English classes for the community, but that's a process. You can't just learn a language overnight. Anyone who has tried to learn a second language knows that it is a long time. You have to practice a lot, and you have to be given a space to do that.
But you gotta understand, though, that you are asking the police officers basically to do that, no?
What we're asking for is for the county to prioritize hiring bilingual residents. We're not saying that every single police officer has to be bilingual, but we're saying that the percentage of bilingual officers should reflect the percentage of people in the community that require that service.
Nassau police, who service heavily Spanish-speaking areas like Uniondale and Roosevelt, have just over 2,400 officers total on the force. Of that, 100 are bilingual. Now, we wanted to speak with the acting Nassau Police Commissioner Thomas Crumpter to get his thoughts on the hiring of more bilingual officers. At the time of our interview, he was unavailable, but he did release this statement on the issue. At times, first contact with a victim or complainant can be hampered by language barriers, the acting commissioner said. He went on to say it may be necessary to explore increasing the base of Spanish-speaking officers. Mayor Wayne Hall of Hempstead believes there should be more bilingual officers on his force and around Nassau County, but he wants more residents from the village who speak fluent Spanish to take the police exam, something he says he's out encouraging residents to do.
Any of the residents that will take the Nassau County police test and pass will automatically be put on the Hempstead list. So your chances of being hired as the African American or Latino is much greater than for you to be hired in Nassau County.
No, sir. By the way, Ronaldo says he's been trying to learn English for 2 years with no luck, but he says he's not giving up.
I believe that English is important, but it's also important for there to be bilingual police officers.
There's an update to this story that happened a few days after we conducted those interviews. The Hempstead Board of Trustees has officially asked the Nassau Civil Service Commission to create the special job category for bilingual police officers. The next Nassau County police exam is not expected until sometime next year. So this leads us to our Facebook question. Should Nassau County create 2 lists for its next police officers exam? One for bilingual officers and one for those who speak English only. Just go to the Diverse Long Island Facebook page and share your thoughts. We may use your comments on our next program.